I'm going to speak my piece on this. Uh, Prophecy did come true. Well, it's a minor one, very, very minor. Um, I told a couple of my Facebook friends a while ago. I think it was about 3 years ago, give or take. There's a few friends I do have. I did tell them if there was a so-called American Civil War, I would not be involved in it. I don't want to get involved in the action. I don't really want to at all. And what played out to be, eh, I mean, I didn't. I've been following and watching what this miserable group, everybody thought Antifa was going to start their nonsense. It started off Antifa versus, I guess, Patriots, three percenters, uh, something boys, whatever it was. They started in with. Then it evolved into Black Lives Matter versus pretty much Blue Lives Matter. Uh, Things change. I guess this information war, I guess if you will, is evolved uh, quite significantly because it's being a lot more brutal, being a lot more rampant. Uh, I still don't want to get in the middle of any of it. Um, uh, a lot of people will hate me on both sides for speaking the truth on this, especially this technical matter. Um, the whole matter of Black Lives Matter saying that no lives matter until Black Lives Matters. I mean, are they trying to push an agenda? Are they pushing a political pun? No lives matter until a Black Lives Matter, but a lot of other black men on YouTube with common sense, reason, um, intellect, a conscious mindset have opened up and said, hey, look, um, things ain't right with that movement. You know, coming from a standpoint, I mean, the government don't like nobody. Just be honest. They don't. The government don't even like its own people. If you boil it down to where the government has been infiltrated by Luciferians, people who want to end the world. I mean, they don't like nobody. They don't even like themselves. So what? Black Lives Matter has to matter before all lives matter. I mean, do we really want to forget about the Native American man? I mean, he was more oppressed than the black man. I mean, God, he's Native American man still doesn't have rights. It's still denied jobs and forced on reservations and all this and that. Uh, I don't know. Recently, a woman gets shot in the face, or I don't know, shot in the face or shot. Well, she gets shot dead recently for saying all lives matter. I haven't seen nobody get shot for saying Black Lives Matters yet. Uh, this whole evolved fight between Black Lives Matter being hijacked by Antifa, funded through George Soros and the 1000 Club, whatever they call themselves, out of California or Nevada, one of the two. It don't matter. We know that Antifa was terrorist. We know that there's a few other videos out there that people have got information that Antifa is federal agents are in Antifa. The government is within and knows Really, I mean, if the people were some serious terrorists like Antifa, like Trump said that they were and deemed them terrorists, and they have infiltrated Black Lives Matter, well, don't you think it would be more prevalent for the FBI to start arresting them or Homeland Security to start coming in? Well, the questions are not always the ones that have been asked. It's all usually and sometimes the better ones that haven't even been asked. Or the flip side of the question. Why hasn't the people who have been called and labeled terrorists been arrested? Because there are government forces within the groups. There's something bigger afoot on the inside of it. Blue Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter, blue versus black. A different chessboard. It's a different chessboard with different colored pieces. That's all I see. Back in history, we had Black Panthers versus KKK. You know, wooden chessboard, white and black pieces, button heads. Don't mind my metaphorical meaning, but because that's exactly what I mean. It's a metaphorical meaning. Now we just have a different chessboard, which was started off was red versus green. Red with Antifa, green with patriots and former veterans. Now we got this movement against the police, which I understand because I even had police brutality against me. I'm not just preaching to the choir. I mean, I really had some very difficult situations with police because they wanted to draw down their guns on me for I was uncooperative. And mind you, when you use your constitutional rights, you become uncooperative to them. And you hurt their feelings because they can't do their job as police officers if you use your constitutional rights. And you back yourself up with the law. They hate that. They hate an educated man. So it seems. I cannot say that as fact because maybe not all of them, but there are a lot. But let me get back to what I was saying. I am not taking a side on one way or the other because I don't believe either one of them is right. My soul, my core, and my logical side of my head, neither side have really done it right. Black Lives Matter just wants to murder and kill people and get away with it. I mean, these people have wanted to kill whites, and a lot of black men have been really killing other black men, and it has been hushed up by the media. And we don't want to talk about it if it's not white and black crime. We don't. If it's a black man killing on a spree of 14 minors, we don't want to talk about it. But we don't want to talk about it when we want to hush it up when a cop goes and does wrong too. I mean, the media doesn't want to talk about it. A cop will not arrest another cop for doing something illegal. We all know that. This is why I'm saying this prophecy came true. I will not get involved, and anybody who's smart will not get involved. Anybody who's consciously conscious will not get involved. I was going to ask some people, some other militias, some other this, some other that, of groups and of people around the country, when is something going to happen to get involved? And I answered my own question in my head through a question I was going to ask, but so I'm asking a redundant question since I know the answer. Because that's a smart thing to do. Just not get involved because you don't believe either side is right. I mean, there's enough videos out there on YouTube to relay the fact that there's so many So many police officers that don't know their own duties, that just arrest somebody on a whim or want to shoot because they're trigger happy and they want to kill somebody. They don't want to recognize, hey, this red-blooded American is an American. Like I said, I'm a former Army veteran, combat engineer. Okay, military, Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force. There is no room for racism in duty. You bleed red just like everybody else. Color is should not be an option to discriminate against. It can't be. Not when it's your brother in arms, not when it's your somebody who's got your back. Anyways, it doesn't work when you have two groups that are asinine and redundant going up against each other. These Blue Lives Matters, they'll look over police crimes, even if police crimes happen to them, like an unlawful arrest or a cop does something foul to somebody who is a Blue Lives supporter. The Blue Lives supporter will, I don't understand, but I think it's just a misunderstanding. I just want to look over it. I still want to lick boots. I still want to be a loyalist to the cops. Yeah, I'll say this. Some police departments need defunded. But I will say my piece and say that there needs to be a whole new police reform. There needs to be a whole new thing. The government and the system needs to be redone. I will also speak my mind and say that I am sick and tired of it. I was so angry when I heard Trump on his speech, law and order, law and order, law and order, law and order. Like that's all you can say. I mean, where's law and order on the cops' behalf? The mistreatment to the public. Don't get my speech twisted because there are some officers who are okay. Not every cop is a bad one, but sure enough, a crime of association. That's still good cops don't arrest bad cops. Bad cops don't arrest good cops. I get it. It's a whole construed mess of worms that in a can that's just out and everybody sees it, but a lot of people want to be like an ostrich and put their head in the sand and just forget about it being there. A whole cultural issue because the government turned a blind eye to police brutality for the longest time. I mean, originally the Black Panthers started because of police brutality. I mean, there's no skipping that fact. There's no skipping that fact. But we got a group that just wants to murder now since there's no police. And we got a group of police who still want to murder because, they can get away with it. I was fearing for my life. I had to do it. The man sneezed. I had to shoot him because I feared for my life. He was going to do something. He made a fierce gesturing movement towards me. The man sneezed. He balled his fist and made a movement to me. For God's sake. The man sneezed and you shot him? Because he made a movement towards me. Oh, please, man. Guy gets billy clubbed to death on the back of the head while in handcuffs. The police officer was arresting the man. Whatever. I don't remember what the thing was back in Pennsylvania. A guy got beat over the head with a billy club by the police officer while the man was in handcuffs. When the man was being led to the car by the officer, And the man sneezed, and the cop said he was trying to escape. And the cop bludgeoned him to death over the head with his billy club. And, oh, hey, we got a murder on our hands. Oh, the cop was excused. A lawful and just murder was made. A murder was made lawful because the cop was in fear for his life because the suspect was going to flee the thing. He sneezed, for God's sake. Your body goes forward, and you had a jerk moment because the man was a big man. He had a full body sneeze. Oh, he jerked away, so I had to beat him to death. Both sides are wrong. Both sides are unjustified. You got YouTube pushing the propaganda of both sides. I mean, what happened to all lives matter? I mean, why does somebody have to get shot for saying that? Are we that far left? We can't have a discussion. We gotta be thugs now. I mean, if one side is bad, we don't need two bad sides. Seriously, it's like America doesn't need two bad sides. Cops murder, now Black Lives murders. Who really now is better than the other? Really, who's better? Neither side is worth taking up. And people are angry at the police. I get it, but it's not just the police that. I mean, everybody just sees the police as a face. The police are just a face. They're the boots on the ground, if you will. The judges, the courts, the lawyers, the prosecutors, the attorneys. The system is messed up deep inside at the core. And what you're seeing and what you're taking it out on, say that these fingers are the police officers, this is what you're seeing. They're the face that you see, not the face behind the face. What you're seeing is here, these men marching and doing what they're told. You don't see what's behind them whispering to them to do what they need to do or what they're demanded to do. You don't see the officials behind. You don't see the higher ups and the people that are giving those orders to the foot soldiers. You don't see the commanders, if you will. So we got people reverting to thuggery and tyranny and murder, supported by George Soros, funded. George Soros funds this organization. They murder, they kill. So do the police. So I mean, it's neither side is good. I mean, you got terrorists versus domestic terrorists. Man, this is embarrassing. Totally embarrassing. When cops are told to stand down because Black Lives Matter and Antifa is at the scene, it's usually because a couple agents or a handful of agents are inside the group. Think about it. They're not going to shoot their own, even though they're not going to shoot their own. They're not going to arrest their own. The police officers get told to stand down because the FBI is on the inside. Just letting you know, warning you. I'm calling that as a prophecy too, because I know it. I know it for sure as I know it. The FBI or CIA, somebody is involved on the inside of Antifa and Black Lives Matter. I know it for sure. I know it. But that's it. I'm going to say it like that. I'm going to end it with this. Neither side is justified. Neither side is right. The police aren't justified. Blue Lives Matter doesn't matter. Black Lives Matter. That group, that organization It's trash. It's terrorists. They're no good. They've they should have just stuck with the anti-police brutality. They should not have went and rioted and listened to those Power Rangers, the Hebrew Israelites, those black guys that want to make the world bow to them. I'm not even going to get into that on this video. This is already over 20 minutes. Evil is evil, and evil is on both sides, and both sides are evil. I'm going to leave it with that. Have a good day.